Water, hull creaking. The camera glides along the curved flank of a submarine, lights glancing like distant stars. A narrator speaks, measured, grave, beneath the waves, where light dies and silence grows thick, the true power of navies sleeps in tubes and steel. Cut to archival photos and slow-motion launches. This is the story of the heavyweight torpedo, the primary undersea weapon that decides fights before warning flags fly. Beat. Sound of sonar pips. Though, from the first unguided spears to the modern, computer-guided killers, torpedoes changed naval warfare. They turned capital ships into targets, made the ocean a hunting ground, and forced navies to reinvent tactics, sensors, and doctrine. Cut to black and white footage of early 20th century launches. Though, the earliest torpedoes were simple: a steel tube, an explosive head, a clockwork or pneumatic engine and a single purpose: get to the target and blow it apart. Accuracy was low. Success relied on luck, stealth, and daring. Transition to animated diagrams showing propulsion in Euros. Though, two big technological revolutions transformed the weapon. First, propulsion. Steam and compressed air gave way to electric motors, then to high-performance wet heater and gas turbine systems that pushed speed and range. Second, guidance. Gyroscopes and preset angles evolved into acoustic homing and active guidance. Torpedoes learned to seek. Cut to footage of training ranges, crews preparing torpedo tubes. Though, heavyweight torpedoes are different from their lightweight cousins. While lightweights are anti-ship or anti-submarine stingers launched from aircraft and small vessels, heavyweights are the leviathans, long, powerful, and designed to be launched from submarines and surface ships against major targets, enemy submarines, destroyers, and especially carriers. Overlay text. Size and role. Though, a heavyweight typically weighs over a ton, carries a warhead of hundreds of kilograms of explosive, and travels tens of kilometers at speeds that can outrun escorting vessels. They are designed to end fights, not just harass. Cut to slow motion of a torpedo wake, rendered CGI showing underwater path. Though, modern heavyweight torpedoes are guided by sophisticated sensors. Passive sonar lets them listen, picking out propeller noise and machinery hum. Active sonar pings and listens for echoes, useful in noisy or confusing battlefields. Onboard computers fuse sensor data, track targets, and steer. Adaptive guidance algorithms allow a torpedo to switch tactics mid-course, terminal homing, flanking, or even pattern searching if the target attempts evasive maneuvers. Insert short interview clip with a retired submariner or dramatic reenactment. Submariner. You don't just point and shoot. You set parameters, target type, approach geometry, speed profile. Once it's off the tube, the torpedo becomes its own hunter. Though, there are tactical decisions buried in every firing order. A fast approach reduces enemy reaction time but burns fuel. A long-range shot keeps the launcher safe but gives the target time to react. Modern fire control systems run simulations in seconds to pick the optimal shot. Cut to schematic of a torpedo's internals. Though, under the hood, a warhead, fusing system, guidance electronics, a propulsion package, and a fuel source. Warheads are often shaped charges or blast fragmentation designs tuned to damage hulls or machinery. Fuses range from contact to proximity and influence fuses that can detonate beneath a ship's keel to break it in two, the most devastating outcome. Sound effect. Distant explosion. Though, a torpedo detonating under a ship exploits a ship's vulnerability, the hull girder. Rather than punching a hole, an under-keel explosion creates a gas bubble that lifts and then tears the hull, causing catastrophic structural failure. That's why carriers and battleships, heavy as they are, can be crippled by a single well-placed strike. Cut to footage of countermeasures, decoys, counter-torpedoes, anti-torpedo towed devices. Though, torpedoes aren't magic. Navies developed countermeasures: noise-making decoys, towed interceptors, evasive maneuvers, and torpedo-defeating systems that detect, localize, and neutralize incoming threats. The contest between torpedo and defense is a technological arms race. When torpedoes got smarter, defenses evolved. When defenses improved, torpedoes learned new tricks. Insert animated sequence showing a torpedo switching from passive to active mode as a target turns. Though, one modern trick is salvo firing and cooperative tactics. Submarines may fire more than one torpedo. Some advanced designs can communicate or use pre-programmed patterns to herd, flank, or box in a target. The goal is to overwhelm the target's defenses and ensure a hit. Cut to archival footage of famous torpedo engagements, stylized, respectful. Though, history is full of lessons. In both world wars, torpedoes were decisive. A submarine's covert strike could change campaigns. Post-war, Cold War planners treated anti-submarine and torpedo tactics as central to fleet survival. Learning to hunt and to avoid hunting shaped ship design and fleet doctrine. Close-up of modern submarine periscope and sonar displays. Though, during the Cold War, heavyweight torpedoes matured into a strategic tool. Nuclear torpedoes were even contemplated, terrifying, but seldom used. Most modern navies focused on high-explosive, precision-guided weapons capable of sinking submarines and surface combatants alike. Overlay text. Examples. Though, there are several families of heavyweight torpedoes in service around the world. Each reflects different design philosophies: range versus speed, stealth versus punch. Some prioritize wire guidance, a physical link between submarine and torpedo during the initial flight for course corrections. Others rely solely on onboard sensors and autonomy. Many combine both, wire-guided until terminal homing takes over. Cut to training room and maintenance bay. Though, maintenance and handling are an often overlooked part of torpedo operations. These weapons are complex machines. Torpedo crews train constantly, loading, testing, and sealing tubes under pressure. The human element remains critical. Even the smartest torpedo needs a competent crew to launch it at the right moment. Insert a moment of reflection, slow footage of waves. Though, there's a moral and strategic weight to undersea weapons. They operate in a theater where detection is hard and escalation can be quick. The ability to sink a ship quietly changes political calculations. That's why torpedoes are treated with caution and why their development is both technical and diplomatic. Cut to montage. Simulations, testing ranges, engineers in labs. Though, looking forward, torpedoes are evolving again. Advances in battery technology, smarter signal processing, and machine learning allow better target discrimination and longer endurance. Concepts like autonomous underwater vehicles blur the line between torpedoes and drones. Swarm tactics could one day make individual hits less necessary, relying instead on massed effect. Quick interview clip with a weapons analyst or dramatized line analyst: autonomy changes everything. If your weapon can judge a target, prioritize, and coordinate, the dynamics of undersea warfare shift from single-shot duels to complex engagements. Though, but for now, the heavyweight torpedo remains the classic undersea instrument of power, lethal, precise, and terrifyingly effective. It's the reason modern ships carry torpedo defenses, the reason submarines patrol quietly in contested waters, and the reason navies spend billions to stay ahead. End with cinematic shot. A torpedo leaves the tube in slow motion, bubbles trailing into the deep. Though silent, invisible, relentless, a torpedo takes the ocean's dark and makes it an offense. For those who operate them and those who face them, the truth is simple: under the waves, the fight is decided in seconds, and the torpedo often decides who survives. On-screen text for the final line. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like and subscribe for more stories from the deep. Tell us in the comments which weapon or engagement you want us to cover next.